Hello, fellow crafters, and welcome to a very, very special episode of the Crochet Cakes podcast. Because as you can see, I am joined by the lovely Claudia of Crochet Luna. And you guessed it, we're here to talk about part 2 of the SRCAL Summer Romance Cal 2022. And I do say part 2 because in case you missed it, last time we met over at Claudia's channel, didn't we, Claudia?
We sure did. It was so much fun. So much fun.
Yeah, it really, really was. So in case you missed that episode, we'll of course link it for you, but do you want to kind of rehash a little bit of what we talked about?
Yeah, so for that Cal, we actually went into a little time machine and tried to figure out all of the different themes that we had chosen. And for those of you who are not familiar with the Cal, the Summer Romance Cal, basically we choose a theme, and we crochet, we knit a project, and all that we ask is that you can link your project to your couple or to your theme, and really that's it. We don't have any hard rules about what you can and can't. We welcome whips as long as they're like not more than 50%. Any literature, movies, what do we say, plays, manga, anime, everything goes for this Cal.
Anything and everything that has a couple that you can join together, even if they did not exist. Maybe you are going for fan fiction, anything. Just the idea is to celebrate just romance and bring a little summer joy into our lives.
Absolutely. And we run it in the summer because we want to give you guys a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
We spoke, one of the things that we touched on was that we didn't finish some of those projects. Some of them were still not even caked up.
Some of them were just ideas that floated around and never made it into a yarny template.
Absolutely. So we hope that in part 2, you will get to meet our couples, and we have a little special reveal. It's a little different twist than what we've done in the past, right, Clarisa?
Yes, and we're so excited to share it with you. But before we share our couples, Claudia, what's the theme?
Historical romances is our theme. Here, I will cover my face up. Yes, so for those of you who don't know, you can purchase this button in the Etsy shop, and you can put it on your project bag, and it's going to be there all summer to inspire you to crochet. And as we always say, our tagline is, who do you love? So who will you be loving on this summer?
Exactly. And I am so excited for this year. We chose the theme because we know that Bridgerton is a huge part of many people's lives. And we just thought, well, there's a lot other historical romances out there, so we should celebrate those too. So we thought we should celebrate all historical romances, and what better place to do it than the Summer Romance Cal? So Claudia, who are you choosing?
Well, I am choosing
Sing me a song of a lass that is gone.
Outlander. I am choosing Claire and Jamie Fraser. By the way, this is the original 1991 book cover from her book. Isn't that cool? I love it.
I really like it. I think I like it better than the newer one.
Right? Like this is like the original one that came out.
I mean, it really details everything that happens. You have a clock, you have some tartan, you have the dagger, the ceremonial dagger that they used, and you have the pearls that he gives her. For not having finished the series, I sure know a lot about it.
You know what? I actually read, because as I was getting ready for this, I was like, I read lies, Clarisa, lies. I listened to 3 books on Audible. And then like the series came on, and I'm like, oh, well, I'll just watch the series. And I actually watched season 1, season 2, and season 3, I think. And then I kind of just dropped off. I haven't watched it. So now that I'm going to be doing this, I definitely want to go back, starting season 1, and just start watching everything. And so the reason I chose them, first of all, they're gorgeous people. And I mean, look at that.
That accent.
And yes, the whole show is so beautifully, the costume design, the landscaping, the choreo, everything about cinematography is so beautiful. And this show has lent itself so well to wool, yarn, knitting. Mostly, I guess most of the pieces when I was looking at different imagery of the show, what I came across was just a lot of knitting pieces.
Yes, she does. It's really funny though, because her knitting just kind of makes her seem more of an outlander, because during that big time, 18th century, right? They wouldn't have used chunky wool because knitting was associated with really fine yarns, and she wears a lot of chunky wool. Yeah.
I really like this one right here.
Yeah.
So then, there was a whole series of crochet patterns that were done by Lion Brand, which I thought when we first talked about it, and I thought, well, I'll do Outlander. I thought, perfect, I'll go to Lion Brand and get a kit. I mean, they've got, as you can see, just so many offerings of crochet and knitting. I think these are these all crochet? I think these are knitted. Doesn't that look knitted to you?
Yeah, I think even the mitts are knit.
Yeah. And this looks exactly like this one to me. So I thought, well, I'll go to Lion Brand and maybe purchase the kit, but we've got something else in store completely for this, which is really exciting. And for anyone who is a knitter that's going to join the CAL and is also inspired by Outlander, there was a whole book that was done that I thought was so cool, and the palette for Outlander is so completely different than my palette. I mean, it's like crazy, right? That that I'm really looking forward to, like, having a piece that's more at the muted, muted colors and that kind of stuff. So yeah, so I'm choosing Clara and Jamie Fraser from Outlander.
Well, I'm also going historical too, and it was more inspired by the series than the book, and it is North and South. And I always told myself, if Netflix ever takes North and South off, I'm stopping my subscription to it, because it is one of their series that I rewatch all the time. And it was the first time I ever saw Richard Armitage on screen. I actually think that was his first, because he was a theater actor. And it was just phenomenal. He did the moody mill owner so well, and reasons that I chose it is because it deals with the fabric industry, the Industrial Revolution, running a mill, and the problems that you can face. And of course, it also deals with a bit of prejudice, but someone who's from the country moving to the city and all that. It's a series that I hold really close to my heart. I have read the book. I just prefer the ending in the series so much more.
I've never seen that series.
Oh, you have to go. It's only 4 episodes.
I'll watch it.
Yeah, it's just the costuming, and they were very it's just the mannerisms and everything. I used to be a historical romance nerd in my younger days, not that I've stopped, but anyway. So it was completely inspired by that idea. And I'm not going to spoil it for you, but there is a scene where they talk about roses. And so I decided to very unashamedly use my own pattern. And it is this one. It is called the Maya Socks. It is on IDP, which is a part of IDP, We Crochet's independent design program. And it's first released there. I'm going to release it probably in not next week, the other one. So around the end of May, we'll be releasing this pattern, and it's just got lovely lace at the top.
So pretty.
And of course, I can never remake my patterns the same way I designed them. So my idea is to go thigh high, well, at least knee high with this, because historically speaking, their socks were knee high and they used to be tied with little ribbons, I think. Am I getting my periods mixed up? Probably.
Was it garters or no? Garters, ribbons?
Yeah, I actually don't remember if like they were garters, because I forgot for a moment if I think North and South takes place during the late 1800s, I think, which would make it Victorian. Yes, make it Victorian. And I think it was Victorian because she had the slopey shoulders. Sorry, I'm just going to start geeking out. But anyway, there's a very important scene involving roses, and I thought I would represent them. I'm going to be using not the same color, but the same yarn because I love this. The yarn is Hawthorn Fingering Speckle from, this one's kettle dyed actually, from We Crochet. I really like it. It's a very thick high twist fingering weight, so it's very plump. It's only got 357 yards per 100 grams, but it makes a great sock.
Would you consider adding some roses, like little rose details?
Well, I had actually, now that you bring it up, since they were going to be knee high, I wanted to kind of run some ribbon through it, and I was going to get ribbon that had roses on it, just so it kind of sticks more with the flower theme. The color I chose, it's kind of a little boldish because I'm thinking of a off-white speckle, and she used to wear very earth-toned colors, and him being a mill owner and a man, he would wear very somber clothes, so it was always black, but I'm going more for representing their spirits than their actual clothing. So that is my first couple, because Claudia and I are nothing if not ambitious. So like I said, ambition, it's not my middle name, but I like to pretend it is sometimes. So I have another couple that I'm deliberating, and that is actually a Bridgerton inspired one, and it is from Sir Philip, to Sir Philip with love. It's Eloise Bridgerton and Sir Philip. I really liked their story. It was so cute. So they're a couple that I'm thinking about, and yeah, will I have time? I don't know. And honestly, I would really like to portray North and South. So that'll be my
It's gonna be really beautiful if you do those socks like that and you have those details. I mean, do you remember like a couple years ago, maybe more than that, there were these knitted like the thigh-high socks that came out that everybody wanted to make?
Yeah.
Remember those?
Yeah, I do. And
I think that they did do like a crochet version of those socks. Somebody did.
Man, I don't remember that one, but I remember a lot of the thigh. I don't know. I just think knee-high socks are so cute. But Claudia, now that we talked about my ambitions, let's talk about yours.
Well, I couldn't pick between, I have two projects because I couldn't decide. And the first one is called the SRCAL kerchief, because it really reminded me of something that Claire would wear. And so even this color, I thought, see, like, look, I'm trying to choose like a single color, which, right? This one here. And then I also like this one, which is the cobblestone path cow. But I would do it in a darker color. I want it like a green, like one of those sage greens, or a dark blue or something like that. But the reason I'm choosing cows is because I really want to finish my project. And I have a design and another secret project. I've got like 3 things on my hook right now. And so I really want to finish. And I thought this one or this one would actually be a good way to go.
Yeah. No, you're completely right. I always just pick so many projects, and I do want to finish it, and I'm really excited about the knee-high socks. So I think I might just end up going with one couple just because it's doable.
Can we just take a minute and talk about those earrings you're wearing?
Oh yeah. So
Oh
my
my God.
mom designed these earrings.
I was gonna say was, yeah,
Yeah,
inspired
she
professor.
did. And of course, she sent me a picture of what she was designing, and I said, "Yeah, those are mine, right?" She's like, "Well, I was just designing them." Like, yeah, but they're mine.
Oh, what are those felted? Or are
No,
those?
these are crochet.
No, you gotta take it off and show it closer. That is
Oh,
too freaking. And I called her inspired professor because I'm an OG.
no, yeah, that's true.
Right? Oh my God, those are so cute. Oh, those are so cute. Oh my gosh. At first, I thought it was a gnome that you were wearing, and I'm like, that's cute, but then it's like mushrooms.
Yeah, it's a
Oh,
little toadstool. Yeah, I am a mushroom aficionado. Um, I have a mushroom corner going on, and actually, I think all the gifts that I've requested for her for next Christmas are mushroom related.
is she gonna release that as a pattern?
Yeah, I think she was writing it up. But yeah, she had planned to release it as a pattern, but I don't know if she worked on it while she was in Alabama. She's actually coming over this Monday. I have to pick her up from the airport. So we have some work stuff planned. So I'll ask her, definitely ask her. And if not, remind her that she needs
Yeah,
to.
those are super cute.
I love them. I wear them almost all the time now, just because why
Yeah, they're
not?
super cute. Yeah.
Yeah. And actually, that's a great transition because the second couple that I think might have to be sacrificed at the altar of time is, like I said, it was Eloise and Sir Philip. And I wanted to kind of commemorate Sir Philip's love of nature with this lovely design from Coco Crochet Lee, which I've been meaning to make for the longest time. But you guys know that I love garments. So I was actually going to make a shirt with this her pattern instead of just making a bag. So I'm kind of sad if I have to sacrifice them at the altar of time, but also that leaves room, right, for next possible romance cals because Alice in Wonderland deals with mushrooms, and certain I can find a way to stick mushrooms into my next couple to assign them.
You know what? Mushrooms became really popular in my house too. My daughter really loves them. And I was like, am I missing something? All the kids are like wanting to like have mushroom like imagery and stuff. And then I started seeing project bags with them, and I saw there's a pattern, right? That's got that, it's like a mushroom purse. And I thought, oh my God, it's so cute.
I think weren't mushrooms a really popular 70s design for houses?
I don't know. I was born in the 70s, Clarisa. Are you trying to date me?
No. I'm trying to remember because I think it was my husband's grandmother had the canisters with the 3D mushrooms at the front, and the canisters were cream and brown tops.
Oh, if I saw something like that at a thrift store or vintage shop, I would buy those in a heartbeat.
Well, I know that Coco Crochet Lee found some and she bought it, and that's what inspired this design.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, her name's Lee. Sorry. It's just going for the full name there. But yeah, so please let us know in the comments what couples you're thinking about choosing, what projects, how are you representing them? Are you choosing to represent something they're wearing or more of their spirits like I'm doing with North and South, or maybe it's their outfits like Claudia is doing, which I think it's great. Can you imagine never mind, a crochet Victorian dress would be way too heavy. Forget I said that.
You know, even though if you don't even if it wasn't crochet, when I look at the fashions, right? I cannot imagine wearing so much fabric on my body. I just can't, like, layers of fabric and upon layers of fabric. It makes me a little claustrophobic.
It does, but at the same time, I don't know if you've ever seen this video that went viral on YouTube. It says, I wore a corset for 5 years, and it's from Abby Cox. She used to work at a living history museum. So she had to wear, I think it was Colonial Williamsburg. So she had to wear, clothes of the time. And she actually goes into like the pros and cons of it. And I guess you don't really think about it, but at that time, fabrics were very, very thin. They were sheer almost. So you have all these layers, and I guess maybe they would equal a pair of jeans, probably a little heavier, but maybe in terms of thickness of materials. So I just thought it was interesting to know that. And also, it's true what she says, those fashions provided a lot more, not a way to hide, but nobody needs to see what you actually look like because you're under padding and hip padding and
right. Yeah.
So it's
one of the women that I work with right now is into Renaissance Fair. And so she was showing me these photographs of some of her costumes. And I was like blown away, like hand embroidered, hand beaded velvets and things like that. And I was just like, I couldn't even imagine like wearing that kind of stuff. We dress like peasants, Clarisa. We dress like peasants nowadays.
It is very, very true. We don't take as much care with our appearances. And also, it's really interesting because fashions at that time, they lasted for more than a year. Mm-hmm. And so you could reuse your clothes more than you do nowadays. Nowadays, you kind of just have to kind of say, well, I don't care what fashion says is fashionable. I'm just going to wear what I have. And it's also, I think there's this series called Gentleman Jack that I heard a lot of historical costumers praise it a lot in the costuming department because you could tell that the eyelets of certain garments were hand embroidered, and you could see how they would take dresses that were, or dressing gowns that were no longer the fashion, and turn them into like household items by altering the height of the waist and just things like that. And it's just fascinating that the costumes back then were meant to be deconstructed in a way. I was just,
well, probably because fabric was probably expensive, I was just thinking, I was watching, not a lot, but some snippets of like the Met Gala stuff. And just thinking about the way that women's bodies have changed into what's accepted, and the big deal of Kim Kardashian getting into Marilyn Monroe's dress and that whole thing, and it's like, I don't think people thought about that back then. It was like, I need some clothes because I don't want to freeze to death. I want to look good. Yeah. But you wonder about, when we fall in love with romance, historical romances, because I read them all my life. One of the beautiful things is how, authors describe costumes, dressing, right? Think about how almost not boring, I guess in my ignorance, I'll say that it would be if you were just like, oh, it was just a skirt. Like, no, it was like a velvet brocade embroidered with pearls, it's just so different, right?
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I think that's one of the reasons people are really attracted to Bridgerton too, even though the costuming is not at all historically accurate. It's more director's choice, but it's still very glamorous, and it's still something you wouldn't necessarily wear today. And I'm all about people bringing back, maybe not Regency, because I don't look good in an Empire waist.
Oh, I look pregnant 365 in Empire.
I do too. I had an Empire waist dress at one point, and I was like, well. And also, it was
true.
Really,
not all fashions.
No, exactly. But Hats can come back. I would love to wear hats. And I really do like some of those robes à la française, just some of them. I like the patterning in the fabric because those huge wide hips, no.
With a big giant, yeah.
That you
I
were
was
like,
wondering, how do you even get through the door? Like through the
no,
front?
they had to move sideways. And funnily enough, the reason that fashion didn't stick as long as others was because men were intimidated by the amount of space women took up when they were wearing those dresses. I was
Of
like,
course.
are you for real? Like, really?
Okay, but let's think about this though. The way men viewed fashion and the way they wore clothing is so different, right? I mean, some men wore just as elaborate as garment as a woman, you know, beautiful stuff.
And they used to wear heels. I mean,
Yeah. And
men
makeup.
wore, and wig and all of that. And it's just very, very interesting how our perspective of these things changes. And, you know, just because we're admiring historical fashion doesn't mean we have those vintage values. It's just they were really nice clothes.
Yeah, those are beautiful clothes. Yeah.
And I mean, I know they all come with their own issues, very aware of the West India Trading Company and all that happened. It's very, very aware of that. But some of these designs, they're still very nice.
Have you ever gone to like a costume museum or?
I have not. I think the closest I got, we were in Spain I think it was El Palacio Real de Madrid, and they were having an exhibit on clothes worn by, I forgot.
Somebody important with a lot of money.
Yes, that about sums it up. Somebody very important with a lot of money. That seems like a good description. And so, yeah, that's kind of just where I think my love of costuming came from, because as you say, from historical romances, the way they describe these costumes, it's just so interesting, and trying to imagine it's fun because, you know, we don't have surviving records of all of these fashions, so some of them just require more imagination.
I just love it. I love it. I've always loved historical romances. For me, the older, the better. Like I loved, one of my favorite authors was Beatrice Small. And one of the best characters that I just loved was Skye O'Malley from her O'Malley series. And that first book started in like 563. You know, it was like, woo!
Wow, yeah.
You know, like to me, like the more ancient, the better. I love those romances that took place way back. It's
just the whole setting, right? And some of them actually do a lot of research to write the setting and the traditions of that time and how women were represented and all that. And I really admired that. My favorite were actually historical romances that took place in Scotland. That was it. It didn't matter the date. It was just, it had to somehow be connected to Scotland, because I love the scenery they used to describe. It was just so verdant and lush and creeks, and it just sounded so beautiful. And I guess it was so far away from what I knew, because I lived in a tropical island, so I was very familiar with that. And just reading about these faraway places brought to life by somebody's words, it was just fabulous. And incidentally, I think some of my favorite are actually Karen Marie Mooning,
the Highlander series.
Yeah, because it's not just historical romance, it's the fair folk and the legends of that. And
yes, anybody who watches this video, if you have a chance to read one of the Highlander books, you will not be disappointed. They are fabulous. And she has somebody who narrates them on Audible that you just fall in love with his voice.
Oh, well, I need you to Google that, because I have the Libby app. So if my library has that, hello.
I'm going to tell you what his name is, because I fell so in love with his voice that I started looking for other books that he narrated just so that I could hear it. It's that good.
I'm looking it up right now, guys. This is live
Me
in
too. I'm gonna
action.
go.
Ooh, there we go. Beyond the Highland Mist. I think I remember that one.
I have them all. I have them all. Let me see.
No, sorry to anybody watching this now. Sorry, we are lost in
Yeah, we are lost. We've got to give you this information. Gil, his name is Phil Gigante.
Oh,
Gigante. Yes.
that sounds like a very sophisticated name.
He does the most delicious accent. I'm telling you, you will not be disappointed.
Okay, I'm gonna have to like sign up for Audible again just so I can hear somebody read these books. You know,
Oh
I've actually never had a romance novel read out to me. I usually read them myself.
Well, the narrator makes or breaks it because for the Karen Marie Moning Fever series, the first like 3 books are narrated by someone who it was like nails on chalkboard for me. And then Phil actually ended up narrating the last few books and it just was like money. The narrator just makes it, well, for me at least.
No,
And you know,
I have to agree. There's been some books that I thoroughly enjoy when I read them myself. And sometimes I'm like, you know what? I want to reread it, but I want to crochet. So I'll look for my library and see if they have it on Audible. And the person narrating it, I'm just like, no.
You were like, you've just killed my book.
Yeah. And actually, going back to North and South, Richard Armitage, he has a beautiful voice. I think so anyway. And he has narrated books in Audible. And I think I bought one of the ones, and it's actually if I'm not mistaken, an Hercule Poirot book. I have to listen to that because I bought it 2 years ago.
Yeah, one of the great things about summer romance when you follow if you open up a Ravelry thread, let's say you go past Ravelry threads, you will see what people choose and then you'll be like, oh, I've never heard of that, let me go check it out. So that's one of the really good things about it, is that we open up this whole community of romance readers and you might find something that you've never heard that's like right up your alley.
Yeah, or something you forgot that you totally enjoyed. And speaking of things you enjoy, I think it's time we share one of the great joys that this specific summer romance cal is bringing to us. And it is that this cal is being sponsored by our lovely crafty friends of We Crochet.
Yes.
So excited. So what does this mean? Well, this means that we are choosing patterns or yarns available from We Crochet, and they are very kindly supplying the materials for us to make our chosen patterns. And for you, it means that you get to win an awesome prize, as of yet undecided. Our prizes are awesome anyway, I like to think so. But now it's the added just bonus of getting to work with I really like We Crochet. I like their yarns, and I've been working a little bit more with them this year for the independent design program. And they're just lovely people, like lovely co-workers. So we've been holding on to that secret. And I'm so excited to finally share it with you because I asked Claudia if it would be okay. And she was.
Yeah.
So,
well, do you want to tell them the next big part of that's happening?
Yes.
Next month, right?
Yeah, let me get my days straight because I'm going crazy, guys. So on June 8th, we are going live with We Crochet over on their Facebook page, and that is usually held at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we will definitely be posting that on Instagram. I'll post it on the Ravelry thread, which I will open on the 1st of June, because the cal runs from
my birthday, June 5th through August 17th, I believe.
Yeah, so we have plenty of time to just get together and chat and just make all these things. And just in order to remind you, I will be putting the Ravelry thread, live on June 1st, so you can check out all that information. And I think on June 5th, we will do stories on Instagram just to say the start of the CAL and to remind you of any important dates, which June 8th, put it on your calendars, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We're so excited to have been invited.
Yeah, it is really exciting because I've never had anything sponsored. We've never had this CAL sponsored. So, it's going to be really exciting to work with We Crochet. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And, I respect a company that wants to support independent design, so they do that, and I'm happy to be part of it.
And I'm so happy that you're happy that we're both doing it, because you're my partner in crime for this, CAL. So, and we don't want you guys to think that we're just going to promote We Crochet because they are sponsoring. No, I fully like this company. I like working with them. I've designed with their yarn before, and you guys have heard me go on and on about all their lovely yarns. So you can check out previous podcasts for that.
You have patterns on there, right? You have other patterns.
I do. I have almost all the patterns from last year that I designed were made with We Crochet yarn. I purchased it, some of them, and some of them were for the independent design program. I just think it's good yarn at accessible prices. And that's very important because, you just have to make things, everybody that can join, and you've got different price points where you can purchase things to your needs and whatnot. And the only restrictions are for socks. You really should use wool.
Yes, with a crochet on. Well, I mean, I really consider you a sock expert. If you were not going to use a yarn that did not have nylon, what wool, 100% wool sock would you recommend? Like what? Because I've heard people
going to use nylon. I would say that your yarn should be a high twist, and it should not be a merino. You should go for a stronger blend. So 100% wool would be a blend of different wools, and that would give you a more sturdy sock. That's just my take on it. And if you are going for 100% animal fiber, that's still cool. I would never go for 100% cotton for socks. You would get no stretch. No. But I think it's Regia or Cascade. They do make I consider it kind of a sock yarn or alternative if you are allergic to wool. It's 97% cotton and the rest is nylon, and it's really springy. Ooh. It is so springy. I can't remember the name right now, but I'll put the details in the description box in case you are interested. And incidentally, in the description box is where you will find my information, Claudia's information, the link to the previous CAL video, some chapters if you're interested, and of course, all the links for everything we talk about.
Yes, and don't forget to share your project using the hashtag.
Yes.
Because that's where I'm going to pull a winner from Instagram for a prize.
And hashtag is hashtag SRCAL 2022. It is always SRCAL. The only thing that changes is the year.
Yes. We'll be doing this when we're in our 70s. Here's the hashtag. There you go. You can see the hashtag there. Now, the last thing I want to share with everyone is that I don't have my yarn and I don't have my pattern, but I do have my project bag ready, and I'm trying to keep it themed in the theme. So I am using my Harris tweed and what is it called? The canvas?
Wax cotton.
Wax cotton canvas bag that I got from our lovely friend Faye of the Crochet Circle podcast,
who lives in Scotland, so it's very in theme.
Yes, and so I want to share some of the pins because
she is Scottish, but she lives in the
UK.
My bad.
We love you, Faye. So I wanted to share this pin. I don't know if you've seen it.
Yeah.
This was designed by Claudia Dingle. She hosts the
Sunbird Crochet
podcast, right? And she is an amazing artist. So if you guys want to look at some of her paintings, watercolors, and things like that, definitely follow her on Instagram. Yeah, but she designed this amazing sheep.
It's got the tie. It's got
So
the
great.
kilt.
Yes, and so then I put on my pin that I designed for this year's CAL, and just some pins to keep me on track. Don't want to run into any yarn chicken. And of course, I'm a crocheter. I'm a fearless crocheter.
Yeah.
And just a little crochet pin. So my bag is ready, Clarissa. My bag is ready.
I do not have a bag ready because I was going to attempt to sew one for the dodgy bag Mel. And
You got time? You got time?
Yeah, that's what I'm going for. So guys, we just want to thank you for sticking with us today and for chatting about the Summer Romance CAL. We hope that you join us, and please don't forget to check out the description box. Everything will be linked there. Ravelry thread will open the 1st of January. CAL starts the 5th of January and
June.
Sorry, yes.
I do that all the time. Listen, let me tell you something. When you guys watch my videos, they're heavily edited because a lot of times I'll be like, yeah, it's October 5th, when really it's not.
I don't know what day I'm living. So June, guys, 1st of June, Ravelry. 5th of June, CAL starts. 8th of June, join us for We Crochet. We'll send out reminders. And yeah, just thank you so much for wanting to be part of this CAL again.
Bye, guys.